Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. KSI. This man's on his way to a championship, isn't he? This man's pound for pound. The best in boxing. The best we've seen in a long time, isn't he? The man did something amazing yesterday, miraculous. Got in there in the ring with 2 tomato cans. People, what did we just watch? Come on, man. Yo, welcome to the circus. Okay, welcome to the circus. This is getting out of hand. Now, don't get me wrong. The whole card, the whole card was pretty entertaining, you know. And the guys are actually trying to train, get themselves in shape, right? So I gotta be fair to KSI, and I just gotta be, you know, I gotta be real, right? That man put the work in to get himself in shape. You remember what he was looking like before, right? The man had his stuff together. He put the work in. His boxing technique and everything has improved. He's still wild as hell. And that will just come with time, you know, and just settling down and getting anxious trying to knock people out. But at the end of the day, so we give him credit for that, right? It's one thing to understand what it takes to get into that kind of shape, and there's another thing to actually do it, right? If you've actually trained to lose weight, but if you've trained as a boxer or as some kind of combat sport to cut weight and to get into that kind of shape, you know, that is not easy. That takes a certain kind of discipline. And I'm going to say it's even more special what he did to get into that kind of shape, knowing that his parents are from Africa and his mom, culturally, you know, when it comes to culture, right? Me being from a West Indian background, there's always someone trying to put food in your face. And I know that shit had to be hard for him, especially being out there in the UK, just, you know, with that whole African community and just with him and his platform that he has, but especially with your family. And sometimes they don't want to understand what you're doing and you're cutting weight. They cook food here, eat. You're not eating. I remember my grandmother used to think, she see me with my stomach, you know, ripped. And she thought, she was like, look, his ribs are showing, he's sick. And my grandmother there, boom, pushing food in front of me. You know what I'm saying? Curry kingfish, roti, and all this stuff, man. And I'd be like, Grandma, I'm in shape. But, you know, she was old school. She's like, no, those are ribs. So with him, I really understand what it took to get there. Okay? So and his skill set, it improved, okay? It improved. But let's set that aside. KSI and the 2 guys he fought yesterday made Jake Paul look like Rockey Marciano, man. Jake Paul looking like a superstar boxer right now. He's looking like the champ. He's definitely the most valuable champion, or whatever the hell that belt is he's wearing. What did we watch? The first guy, man, as soon as he took off his shirt, I said, oh, it's over. It's over. The man was doing, what's that called? Pirouettes? Man, just spinning all around the ring, man. That was a joke. 2 weeks to prepare, shed a bunch of weight over those 2 weeks. That was crazy. Nate Robinson would have beat that guy. Okay? Ben Askren would have beat that guy. So KSI doesn't deserve nothing for that win. Nothing. Come on, man. And then you look at him going into that fight at the end. He has his professional boxer from Mexico. And, you know, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Guy has 5 pro fights from Mexico. Can't speak any English. I was like, man, he's really pushed himself to get in with a Mexican fighter. They're going to bring the Mexican style. Yo, my man, that Mexican dude he fought was running for the border is what he was doing, man. That man was trying to get to Taco Bell. What a joke that was. Yeah, KSI did hit him a few, you know, the shots did straight behind the head a little bit. But come on. It was just, to me, it was a shit show. To me, it embarrassed KSI, in my opinion. Now, does it take courage to get into the ring and have 2 fights in one night? Well, It just depends. If you know who your opponents are and what they don't bring to the table, then no, it don't take no damn courage. Okay, so let's knock it off. Now, if Jake Paul, if Tyron Woodley was going in there, Tyron Woodley, if KSI was going in there in that first fight against, let's say Nate Robinson, second fight against Tyron Woodley, that'd take a little bit of courage. But he wasn't going to do that. That was a joke, man. And he knows not to call out Jake Paul. And going forward, it's entertaining. And I like the fact that KSI has a business mind. That whole setup, man, was ran by YouTubers, man. And let's just be real. Businessmen. These guys have cracked the code over there. All YouTubers on the card. And there was a couple of them, man. Guys look like straight up boxers. Like, they were boxers. They had some serious skill. One guy got robbed, they got face, whatever, angry face, whatever the hell his name is. I don't even know what his name is, but that guy got robbed. Oh, Face Sensei or something. He got robbed. He beat that dude, King Kenny or whatever. But there's obviously some guys out there taking it serious, and that's good for the sport. But let's not take it to the stupid here and think that KSI is going on to beat Canelo. Jake Paul can't even. KSI can't even beat Jake Paul. He can't even beat Jake Paul, man. So come on. So when his brother looked pretty good, man. His brother had some skill, but he was fighting Fousey. If you guys didn't see in Fousey, one of his last fights, Fousey was just standing being a punching bag like he was last night. Fousey was scared to let his hands go. He's all stiff, man. So got to give his brother credit, for getting the win, but for not being afraid to let his hands go. Because if he didn't let his hands go, Fousey probably would have got him out of there. But he showed great improvement, and that's where we have to give these guys some credit. They got in there and showed improvement. They're getting better, and it's a process. And I can say that. I can sit here and make jokes all day, but as a guy who's actually messed around enough to know what it takes to get in that damn ring for a fight, to cut that weight, to go and train, to run those hills, man. And to see those guys get ring get better, man, I can't clown that. Like that, they deserve to be commended. But if KSI wants to be taken serious, right? He's supposed to be back in January. You gotta step it up. Now he could be following Jake Paul's blueprint, saying, okay, I'm gonna incrementally step up. However, I'm not gonna go at the pace of what the fans want me to go. I'm gonna go at my pace. And as far as the threat level, I'm gonna ensure that it's minimal. So the two fights that he had here, threat level was none. The next time he comes up, threat level should be minimal. It's not. Then after that, moderate. Then after that, above average. Then after that, should be threat level, man. Is like critical. And it's just a process, man. And we're going to see how he sorts all this out. But Jake Paul has every right to sit back and laugh at KSI, because Jake Paul didn't do anything like that. At the same time, Jake Paul did find a way to get out of that Hassan Rockman fight. But right now, these YouTubers, man, these guys have got it. They've got it figured out, man. And this is a good learning point for anyone involved in anything that could where you're trying to drive a pay-per-view, right? You're trying to drive pay-per-view. You're trying to justify why you should be a pay-per-view star. These YouTubers bring a fan base already. There's no person sitting around a computer, just the average Joe, who sees an advertisement come across YouTube about this fight with these YouTubers and they say, oh, I'm going to go out there and spend my money and buy this. Nah, these guys don't need that. They don't need anyone outside of their little community, their fan base, to support them. And that is what's so unique about what these guys are doing. You have, 48 million subscribers, man? You just get, man, if these guys really work it right, they get 10% of those guys to buy a pay-per-view. That's over 4 million. They go crack the pay-per-view record for Pacquiao and Mayweather. Now, Jake Paul doesn't have that. He doesn't have 40, but if he can just get, his 1 million, if they can get 1 million every time out, these guys are out of here financially. They already are, but they're really out of here. So that's why I think it's really important for these guys to build up that social media presence. It's not easy. It takes work. But a guy like Adrian Broner, just imagine if Adrian Broner, even in his losses, right, he would have let his hands go and made it more competitive. Because really, Adrian Broner, he shouldn't have lost any of them fights. He just didn't let his hands go, right? Except for that McDonough. Like, he got his ass whipped. But those fights after that, Adrian Broner, with his social media presence, what it is now, imagine what it would have been with his charismatic attitude, with his crazy ways, the fact that he's had ups and downs outside of the boxing ring as far as relationships and legally, and the fact that he really is a good damn fighter, right? And he's deep down is a good human being. He has everything that you want as far as star quality. He has the good and the bad. Everything that you want to make a person want to say, what's going on with this guy? Let me click on here and see what's going on with him. Adrian Broner would be a billionaire by now because of his successful endeavors inside and outside the ring. But it didn't work out like that. But the social media presence for a guy like Adrian Broner as a boxer, he'd be out of here. But these other guys need to look at that and understand you got to have the right attitude, as well as the social media presence, and all of the good will come financially. And that's what you see happening here. Yeah, we know KSI isn't going to go on and win no damn belt. But these guys who are winning belts and are fighting in these championship fights and pay-per-view fights, some of them, they're not making as much money as these YouTubers. So what do these guys care about going out here to fight some legit boxing champion? No, they're going to keep it within their world. And that's what they're doing. YouTubers fighting YouTubers. They're coming up with doing YouTube belts, YouTube championships. They're going to have a YouTube pound for pound list. There's somebody, KSI, Logan Paul, these guys have brains, man. They said, you know what? Forget this training to go get our head smashed in with these true, no kidding boxers. Let's use them for training and sparring to get better, but let's compete within our own community of YouTubers. And that's what they're doing. And man, this young generation is on it. They're on it, man. And you can't knock that. I respect that. I like what they're doing. No, I'm not going to give them credit for being any kind of superstar boxers. That's not the case. But I will say that Jake Paul, what Jake Paul has done, although make you want to drink some rat poison, is bring it all to an end, right? Got to give him some credit when you look at what this crap that KSI just pulled off, man. Don't get me wrong, it's commendable. Yeah, but no threat, no need for any courage. Didn't take much of anything to get him into that ring. You know what I mean? He could have fought those guys with blindfolded, one hand behind his back. He probably could have went there and just fought with his damn feet. You know what I'm saying? He could have just tickled them guys and won. It was crazy, man. To watch that and to see him all hype and excited like he did something special. And his coach talking about what KSI did and how hard he trained. It's because he hit the pro boxer so hard the pro boxer didn't want to fight anymore. Man, like I said, that cat was running for the border, man. That shit was a joke. But going forward, I think KSI and those couple guys on that card, if they really apply themselves, they can be like a Tommy Fury. They can be like a Marcellus Wilder. You know what I'm saying? They can go out there and win some fights against some up-and-coming guys, but there's going to be a point where they kind of peak, and they're not going to be able to go above that level. And I'm talking about, a DC level boxer. They can get up there and mix it up with D and C level, but they won't go anywhere beyond that. And remember, be careful about saying, man, you're being too hard on them. They can get in there and beat a C-level boxer. Okay, Blair Flair Cobb is a C-level boxer. That's what a lot of people say. I think Blair Flair is a B rated, B minus, B plus. I like Blair Flair. Some people say he's C rated. Okay, so if you think Jake Paul or this guy KSI right now can clip a C-level fighter, that means you're saying they can get in there and fight Blair Flair. Yo, Blair Flair, carrot head Blair Flair is fighting at 147. At 147, he beats both these guys. So we just got to, keep things in perspective and not get carried away. Like what KSI is doing, You can't knock it. It's positive, and it's healthy for him. It's helped with his stress. It helped with his mental health. This man wants to live now. See, those are all the things that we got to also talk about. We can sit here and be like, that shit last night was laughable. And that's fair too, because if you're gonna put it out there, we know that people are gonna poke holes at it. We're gonna comment on everything, but the good about it outweighs the laughable circus type crap that took place last night. And this man needs to keep doing it. It's like I have peers who are like, oh man, I almost said my real name, but they be like, yeah, Hood. He's calling himself Hood Champion, and he has his little boxing channel, and he does his videos. Where some look at, as far as my marketability and stuff like that, because you do certain things for a certain amount of time, you become a brand. And I get it. Because you got to be happy with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Keep it simple. You know what I mean? You can't go force things. And KSI is doing what makes him happy. And I commend him for that. I just think he needs to go ahead and be realistic about what last night was about. Okay? That wasn't about him getting there fighting no real boxers and really testing himself. I think that was just testing himself as a fighter. That was testing himself as whatever his first name is. I know they call him JJ. That was testing JJ to see if JJ had the strength to get into the ring, to come out in front of that crowd, to get out there and perform under the lights, under that kind of pressure, and to see if he can mentally push through it, which he did. So I have to commend him for that. But at the end of the day, this man gonna get out there and jump up and down and, create all that commotion like he just went in there and clipped Zab Judah and Miguel Cotto in the same night. He got to step up the competition, okay? So you got some people's attention right now. What are you gonna do with it? But he needs to stay the hell away from Jake Paul, because just throwing a big wild right hand, not coming up with a clean up left hook, that's not gonna get it. But Jake Paul right now, he's having a field day with this. He's looking like Rockey Marciano compared to what KSI is doing. But anyway, man, more to come, man. But Jake Paul has a big announcement coming out. Who knows who he's going to be fighting? Jake Paul has a huge announcement coming out. He's probably fighting Beetlejuice, you know what I'm saying? So be looking for that, man. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I appreciate the support. Man, I was about to say shout out to the veterans, man. But shout out to everybody. I'm in the breeze.